What would you do if your bank froze your money tomorrow? If the government decided you could no longer access your savings? It sounds extreme, but this happens every day around the world. There's a worrying trend of de-banking, where banks shut down accounts they see as risky, and it's become a growing concern, especially when tied to politics. A major example was Canada's 2022 Freedom Convoy protests against COVID-19 mandates. The government used the Emergencies Act to freeze 76 protesters' bank accounts, blocking access to 3.2 million Canadian dollars in funds. Whether or not you agree with the truckers' reason for protest, this is highly concerning and not something that governments should have the power to do. In the US, similar accusations have emerged, with claims that banks are shutting down accounts due to political views or even just ties to the crypto industry. This has led to legal investigations and proposed laws aimed at preventing banks from cutting off access for political reasons. When money is controlled, people are controlled. But what if no government, no bank, no company, not even its creator could shut it down? That's exactly what Bitcoin is, a financial network with no central point of failure, no single point of control, and no way to be stopped. But how is this possible, and why does decentralization matter? Every financial system we use today is centralized. Governments have the power to control financial networks, meaning that they can block payments, limit how much money you can take out, or even shut down banks during a crisis. Companies like PayPal, Visa, and other payment services can also ban people or cut off access to their money based on their own rules or outside pressure. These kinds of financial restrictions have been used against individuals, businesses, and even entire movements, raising concerns about who really controls your money. Bitcoin is completely different. Instead of being controlled by a government or corporation, Bitcoin is run by a global network of computers called nodes. Every node stores a copy of all previous Bitcoin transactions on the blockchain, checks that transactions are valid, helps prevent fraud by rejecting invalid transactions that break Bitcoin's rules, connects to other nodes to share updates about new transactions and blocks. There's no single switch to turn off, no CEO to arrest, and no office to raid. Even if a government wanted to ban Bitcoin, they couldn't shut it down. As long as one computer somewhere in the world is running Bitcoin, it still exists. This makes Bitcoin unstoppable. This is Vladimir Putin admitting defeat at the hands of the Bitcoin network in 2024. Powerful institutions fear Bitcoin because they can't control it. China banned Bitcoin mining in 2021. The result? Bitcoin mining just moved to other countries, and the network kept running. Russia has a complex stance, legalizing Bitcoin mining and its use for international trade in 2024, but shortly after banning mining in multiple regions due to electricity issues. Despite domestic restrictions, Russia increasingly uses Bitcoin for international trade to bypass Western sanctions, especially with China and India. No matter what's been thrown at it, Bitcoin has survived, and every attack only makes the network stronger. You can't ban Bitcoin, you can only ban yourself from the network. Think of Bitcoin like the internet. No single company owns the internet. No government can shut it down everywhere at once. The internet is a global network. If part of it is taken down, the rest still functions. Bitcoin works the same way. It exists everywhere, but nowhere at the same time. The only way to destroy Bitcoin would be to shut down the entire internet worldwide, and we would have much bigger problems if that ever happened. Because Bitcoin is decentralized, it means no one can stop you from sending or receiving Bitcoin. No bank can freeze your funds. No government can control your savings. For the first time in history, money belongs to the people, not the rulers. And it isn't just theory, it's happening now. In Argentina, people use Bitcoin to escape 100% inflation because their own currency is collapsing. In Nigeria, people use Bitcoin to get around currency controls when banks won't let them withdraw their own money. In Ukraine, Bitcoin became a lifeline for those escaping war and financial restrictions. No matter where you live, no matter what happens in the world, Bitcoin can give you financial freedom. And if this wasn't enough for you, how about the United States government, the world's largest economy, now adopting Bitcoin? In January of 2025, an executive order was signed announcing that the US government will create a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a digital asset stockpile. While a bunch of different cryptos are to be included in the digital asset stockpile, The government will only be seizing these from criminals and will not be buying or accumulating any more of them, but they reserve the right to sell any of these cryptos whenever they want. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is treated differently. It's never to be sold, and is to be accumulated as much as they can through budget-neutral methods, meaning they won't print money to buy Bitcoin. These include selling government assets, including other cryptos, gold, land, or even government cheese. Civil forfeiture, seizing more Bitcoin, including those holdings from people trying to use it to evade taxes. Accepting government payments or fines or taxes in Bitcoin. Mining Bitcoin with excess unutilized energy sources. Using some of the existing $39 billion of the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which is a financial tool at the disposal of the US Department of Treasury. This can be done through executive action without the need for congressional approval. Critics of the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve point out that this is just an executive order and that unless the Bitcoin Act passes in Congress, the next president could just reverse the executive order after the next election. However, we should also remember that Bitcoin is programmable and that time locks can be set on the Bitcoin. So in theory, this government could set a time lock so that the Bitcoin could not be accessed for long periods of time, ensuring that the following presidents couldn't sell the Bitcoin, and ensuring that it appreciates in value over long periods of time. So despite some turbulence in its early years, and some countries attempting to ban it, Bitcoin has not only survived, but is thriving, and now the trend is towards adoption. You can't ban Bitcoin, you can only ban yourself from Bitcoin. Maybe it's time to get on board the unstoppable train. Thanks for watching, follow for more.